like a disruption, like people was upset about certain things, and then they started shooting, and I wound up getting shot in my back when I was 14. The baller mindset is what I redefined as the lifelong quest to tap into the mindset of thinking like a baller, training like a baller, and then becoming a baller in whatever your heart desires. So again, it's a mindset, and there's levels to having a baller mindset, and baller mindset to me means having a winning mindset, and winning means whatever it is to you, and then understanding in different situations what is winning.
Hello and welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in today on Reality Practice Quantum Creations, where I interview guests who have experienced massive quantum explosions in their personal evolution and have rewritten their own version of reality. Today's guest, Robert James Walls Jr., goes by James. He took these principles of reality creation to heart at a very early young age there, and he experienced a set of life-changing events, really, at the age of 14. That's when he decided he was no longer going to play by their rules. He was no longer going to allow and accept life to simply happen to him. He was going to go out and create the reality and the person, the persona he chose to be. Now, James, he's the CEO and the host of Coast to Coast Ballers, a podcast, and his own company that he can share with us. He's also the founder of $4 Billion Mindset. So without further delay, let's welcome my good friend, my brother, James, to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Thanks for having me on the show, man. I'm super excited, ready to get the energy up, set everybody on fire.
Absolutely. Hey, looks like Julianne Pito is joining us. Thanks for tuning in there. I'll give shout outs as people jump on, but I really wanted to have you on the show today because you experienced such an amazing quantum shift in your own reality at such a young age. I wanted you to kind of share what happened, what caused, number one, you to change your entire mindset and to become so empowered to make life happen for you. Like what happened at 14, and then what did it kind of transition into? Where did you go from there? Take it away, my friend.
Yeah, I love to expound on that, but I just have to say before I tell a story about what happened with me when I was 14, the reason why I love your show so much, the reason why I tapped in with you the first time I saw you is because of your name, right? The Reality Practice, right?
Right,
so
right.
So I knew like right away, I got it on the back of my shirt. I knew you was a 10X baller when I first saw you, because. And, you speaking to me, I got the, I don't know if you can see it, but I got the Talk Baller to Me shirt on, right? And that's exactly what I do. I redefine what baller means. And it happened when I was 14. So I'm from Brooklyn, New York, right? And it was my second time going out to like a house party, a club, like a party in my neighborhood. And the first party that I ever went to, it got shot up pretty much. And as a kid, we thought it was exciting, because nothing happened to us, and we didn't want to tell our parents. So
Right.
I didn't tell my parents that happened. So I'm going to go to the next party. So the next party I go to, I wound up getting there late. Everybody was like outside of the party, and it was like a disruption. Like people was upset about certain things, and then they started shooting, and I wound up getting shot in my back when I was 14, and that's how I missed out. On my freshman year playing varsity at Paul Robeson High School, and my team won the championship in the Madison Square Garden in New York City, and I had to watch it from home, and it was, and that set me on fire. Like I was literally in my room, like shooting on my little baby hoop in my room, like just getting prepared to get ready to get back out there. So I never felt sorry for myself, and I always had this mindset, right? Because I'm a little guard. I wasn't the tallest guy. I was like 5'8", 5'9". When I was a freshman in high school, and so I always had to play extra hard, be super competitive. So I had that spirit already. But when that happened to me, and I had to sit out that whole year, that ignited this thing that I call the baller mindset. That's my philosophy, and I actually got it written down so I don't forget. So on this poster, so the baller mindset is what I redefined as the lifelong quest to tap into the mindset of thinking like a baller, training like a baller, and then becoming a baller in whatever your heart desires. So this whole reality practice is exactly what I've been doing. I've been, just like in basketball, I've been training my mind because I got the experience and the discipline from playing at a high level in basketball, what it takes to play, with a team of people, how to get along with people, how to practice my skills, hone my skills until I'm ready to get on the big stage and perform. So this reality practice I've been doing since I was little. And
for most people, it came naturally to you. Most people from that sort of a situation, being shot at 14 years old, having what seemed to be like the end of the world for most people, like, oh my God, I'm missing out on this experience. I'm not there on the court with my teammates, my friends. That could have been a moment in your life that shaped your entire life in a whole different direction. You could have. It comes down to the choices we make. You could have chosen an entirely different path, but something inside you was calling you. Something said there was more. I had to become something more. And you created this persona of a baller. Talk about the mindset that is involved with this idea that who did you transform yourself into at that point?
So like, I always looked at like basketball was like a war. Like it was, even though I might like an opponent or I wouldn't have a problem with like the other team that we played against, when we was in between those 4 lines, that 94 feet, this was war. My squad, my soldiers against their soldiers. I played the point guard position my whole life. So I was like always a little general on the floor. So I always had that mindset. And then all of my New York people that might be tapped in or will tap in later, they know that in New York City, they call it the Mecca of basketball. We're super competitive. Michael Jordan was born in Brooklyn, so we take pride in that. Everybody wanted to be like Mike. Everybody wanted to be like Jordan. Right. He had that killer mentality, and I took on energy. So what I realized though was we could take on that energy in everything. And that's why I have this philosophy. That's why I created this company. It's not necessarily make money, but I do make a lot of money with what I do, because my foundation of my company, Coast to Coast Ballers Enterprises, was a basketball league that I created on the West Coast after college. And then I made the newspaper, and things started going up, media and stuff like started getting involved, and it was a lot of money involved. But the whole purpose of it was to bring the community together, to it was like a whole humanity thing, coast to coast, like, be able to, do business on the East Coast and the West Coast and travel. One of the biggest things that I advocate for when I talk to people is we have to see new things. We have to travel, we have to open our minds, that reality practice that you talk about. So that's been my mission for a long time.
I love the idea of competition in your mindset that you had. Tim Grover talks about it, David Goggins. It is that, and I preach this with my own children because I experienced that as well. I was a catcher all growing up in baseball. So yeah, I was the general on the field as well. And I never competed in a game. I never played in a game that it wasn't like a war. I could have been best friends with the competitor across from me, but during that time I was on the field, it was war. I would rather die than to lose. It's just that mindset of, that's the baller mentality you bring. That's the mindset that you teach and coach people about, is this never die killer attitude, but with heart, with love, with compassion. There's a time and a place to be competitive, to be killer instinct, single-minded focus. But there's also a time and a place of compassion, forgiveness, love. How do you merge those two? How does that kind of work for you and what you teach people?
So again, it's a mindset, and there's levels to having a baller mindset, and baller mindset to me means having a winning mindset, and winning means whatever it is to you, and then understanding in different situations what is winning. So like, for example, winning to me is I can be in that same state of mind during the game. I'm aware. I'm telling myself during the game, this is where I'm at mentally. But after the game is over, I switched my mindset back to, okay, now I'm back to humanity. Now I'm back to these guys are my fellow baller brothers and sisters, and I'm going to, celebrate they win too, even though they beat us, but also be able to be into a space where, okay, now I need to learn from this. Why did we lose? And then try to figure out how to get better. And that's the process that I love, because, one thing about us being so-called humans or humans on this planet is we need that balance of the up and down. We can't always win and we can't always lose. So when people get mad when they lose and they can't handle it, they just don't know how to set their mind to switch their focus to train to get better, which is going to give them more joy, more happiness.
Very, very good point there. I think a lot of us get caught up in, winning is everything is what they used to tell us. And then there's winning isn't everything. Which way do we go here? And, you've really brought a personality to you and a mindset that's very unique from what a lot of people out there teach. It's go hard, but when the work's done, it is, you shift into almost a separate reality. There's really like two of you in a sense.
Absolutely.
How do you flip the switch, I guess, from one to the other?
I mean, it's simple, because we wear different hats anyways, right? Like with fathers, with brothers, we just have to recognize that and say, okay, what other hat is going to serve me? What hat is going to serve me best in this scenario? If it serves me to be nice to people in this scenario because it's going to bring more harmony, then that's what we do. Like, that's why, like, I know for a fact this philosophy, this mindset that I have is the ultimate, is the supreme, is the number one winning mindset on the planet, because all those other mindsets is just an extension of the one. Because all sports players, all business players, they talk about having team concepts to be champions and whatever they're doing. It all comes down to being a baller. And the abundance mindset, the growth mindset, that's all what sports players or elite ballers already know this. We already know that you got to have a growth mindset when you're practicing, because you're getting better for when you step onto that stage. So, I just think that and then also too, this is bigger than just an individual thing for me. Like, my mission is this, and this might be a little racy, but I love tapping into like new territory. Right?
Check it out.
So, I'm a leader now, more so than I ever was before. I'm like the young OG. Like, before I was the young guy and I would have to listen to the older people and stuff like that and respect to older people. But now it's my time. It's my turn, right, to lead. And for, people that look like me, brown skin people, there was a lot of manipulation that happened to brown skin people in America. There was a lot of manipulation that happened to Caucasian people in America. I seen both sides. I traveled from New York, traveled to the West Coast. I've seen every side of it. I've been around a gamut of different colors of people. But what I recognized was, and you know this to be true, and that's why I was so excited to tap in with you, because this reality practice is what we need to do, right? So now that we're more aware now than ever that we create our own reality, I've been waiting on this. I already knew this, but people thought I was crazy, right? So, right. So now that we know that we create our own reality, we do not have to adopt any old models of patterns of thought or programming from last year, 20 years, 40 years, 100 years, 400 years down the road. If it doesn't serve us, and the funny thing about that is the government knows this, school systems secretly know this. If it doesn't serve you, you don't have to focus on it. Right. And what commercials did, what the media did, they put all this stuff in our face that don't serve us and put all these thoughts in our mind that doesn't help us and makes us more dysfunctional. So what I'm saying to the public, and I'm saying to the world, whoever sees this, and I get a lot of traction from people coast to coast around the world. I can name cities and countries like crazy that tap in with me, right? So when they get to hear this message, I need them to understand that we...
There you are.
I see some trying to interfere with this message.
Yes, they are, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. We get to create reality now. 2022 and beyond, we are the real life Jetsons, right? I say this all the time. And the reality that I create for me is I'm never going to let anybody, as a leader, a leader of myself and a leader of others in communities that I travel to coast, kids, parents, adults, list goes on and on. We are not allowing people to label us things that don't help us grow or empower us. And I don't want to hear about old school history, and I don't want to hear about any of that. Only thing I want to talk about and build about is talk baller to me, which means talk winning to me. You know, let's have winning conversations. Let's build winning things. So instead of calling me so-called black, because I'm not black, I'm brown. You know, and if for the Caucasian people, if they don't like being called white because it was manipulated, you know, throughout the whole history of those two terms, you know, my game plan is to, when I greet people, I call them a baller, AKA winner. And if you're not a baller in your mind, if you're not a winner in your mind, I can help you with that, number one. Number two is you can just look at it like you're in training, just like reality practice. You're training, you're practicing to get to a point where you're a winner, you're a baller at whatever you love doing. And that...
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I'm on fire about this, and I've been on this for a long time. I started Coast to Coast Ballers in 2004. That's how long I've been on this and trying to get people to tap into this energy. And I have been. I've about 100. So I've been getting, like, in communities, not just online, but getting kids excited, getting parents excited, having them work as a team dynamic, a championship team in their households and in their businesses and stuff like that. But I know that the term baller has no negative connotation to it. So if you're going to label any of us humans, call us ballers.
I hope everybody can see why I wanted James on the show. He's got such a message that's spot on. His energy's off the charts. You know, you talk about the idea of what's happened in the past has happened in the past. We need to let that go. You realize that at such a young age, you started creating the reality you want. But for people out there, you know, we have ups, we have downs, we get knocked down. And I think the biggest message you talk about and you preach is, one, get back up. Always get back up and keep pushing forward. You know, the downs we have, the bad things in life.
See, but the thing is, I don't mean to cut you off, Joey, but we already get that. Like, it's a given. Like, a lot of my my OGs say, what's understood don't need to be said. Like, they always use that phrase with me. And I understand it from the perspective of, okay, we already know from experience, all of us, and even throughout the COVID situation, that life is going to throw you monkey wrenches. Life is going to tap into you. Bad things are going to happen. We already know that. So, and we already know that we live in a society where people talk a lot of trash. You know, I'm from New York. People like to talk trash in New York. And that's okay if you can handle it. But a lot of people can't handle it. So the point that I'm trying to make here is, since we know we're going to have to deal with tragedy, people dying, people getting hurt, car accidents, plane accidents, all these different things, we know negative things are coming. So that's already done. We understand it. What we need to do is uplift each other with our words. Talk baller to me. Talk winning. Talk to me. If you're gonna call my phone, talk baller to me. That's it. Anything else? I mean, but if you're struggling, that's another story. We can get you to a point where you're talking winning again, or seeing the positive in the negative, because that's another thing too that we need to teach the kids. I'm sure you know that's true. There's always a positive in every negative.
Right, absolutely. We got to see through the perception of the negative and work into that mindset, that baller mindset. I'm winning. Doesn't make
right. I'm glad
a loss is a win if you walk away from it and you actually embrace what happened, learn from it, grow from it. I'm so thankful and so happy to have you in your crew, in this following, in this movement.
Yes.
You know,
so I just want to say this because you just reminded me, and I almost forgot about this. So for the people that don't believe that they can be winning at the highest of levels, right? And you know how we talked about this before about how people think so-called celebrities is better than them, right?
Right.
This is how we bring it back to we're all one, right? I don't care if you have autism, I don't care whatever it is that if you have any ailments, whatever it is that you have. Every single human being on this planet has experienced winning before in their life. Whether it's small or big in their mind or whatever, they had that experience. And winning is just an energy frequency, right? Just energy. So if you had an experience of winning in your life, no matter what level it is, you can tap into this ball of mindset that I'm talking about. You can tap into this ball of winning energy that I'm talking about, and then get that momentum going to where you can just keep accomplishing new things as you go along in your journey in life. So there's not one person on this planet, whether they're a kid or an elder, that hasn't experienced any winning. So they've been balling just like everybody else. They're just not aware of it.
Right. Awareness of our successes. Celebrate those little successes, the big successes. They all funnel in and build up to building that new reality. You know, when you see winning and success more than you see losing and failure, you know, it just builds upon itself. So I think your message is incredible. Where can people find you? Where can they find the podcast? If they want to work with you, give us your details, your information. I'll also put it in the show notes as well down below. But before we get to the final question, how can we reach out? How can we get a hold of you?
All right, so I'm everywhere. First and foremost, my own platform where you can go, and I don't have to deal with any third parties wherever like social media goes away. I still have my own website, had it since 2009. It's called coasttocoastballers.com. That's where you can get all the information on all the cool stuff I've been doing since I started my company, you know, winning awards, being in magazines, all that stuff, right? And then Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. It's I am King Motion on Twitter. Shout out to Obama and all the celebrities that follow me on Twitter. Facebook. You can find me at King Motion is Robert Walls Jr. Shout out to Bryant Miguel. He created the Roy Society, which I'm in. I'm kind of like, you know, an X-Men. Like he's like a Xavier. He's like the guy that we come and hone our skills with, because he has 10 million followers. I went viral I've been going viral on Facebook by the millions. I've been reaching millions of people because of him, because he has 10 million followers since like 4 or 5 years ago. You know, he just shared me like a couple of weeks ago on a page. So I've been going viral over there on my page over there, and then Instagram here is Robert Walls Jr. I mean, I'm everywhere. Just Google my name, Google Coast to Coast Ballers, and it pop up. Yeah.
That's the key. We got to be everywhere in order, you know, we can't be obscure. That's the way to success. We got to eliminate the obscurity. So
yeah, whereas humans, I'm there. You know, if you're a human, like somebody asked me one time, I was doing an interview, and they was like, what demographic, like what I was like, if you're a human, then, you know, you can tap in with me, right? Like it doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't any of that stuff. Skin complexion. If you're human, you know what I mean, let's win together.
I love it. I love it. There's no, you know, and I've never seen it either, you know, as far as there's no brown, black, white, yellow. We're all part of the human race. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all here to share love, share knowledge, share compassion. You know, that's something you're huge on. So I want to get to the final question that I ask everybody that comes on the show. And since this show is about creating your reality, if I could snap my fingers and create your ideal reality, anything of your dreams, what would it be and why? Go.
If I can create anything in my dreams, I've done it. So, and it's funny because I thought about that. I mean, I remember Craig saying that too, like where he's at. Like, you know, I've been through a lot of ups and downs, but I wouldn't trade where I'm at right now for the world. Like, you know how they say, like, you know, if you can be a celebrity or you can be another person, would you do it? And I wouldn't. Like, I honestly would never trade my mindset for anybody. So
I tell you what, that is the purpose of this show. I've had you on, I've had Craig on, and both your guys' answers literally have been the same, more or less. You know, I wouldn't change anything. Right where I'm at is my ideal reality. And that's the power of this show. This show is about people who have made that massive quantum leap, who have rewrote their entire story into what they want it to be. There's no more wanting. We always want more, you know, but there's no more when I get here, when I become that. The point of this show is the people that are coming on like you have created it. You are living the fantasy. You are living the dream, and it can be done by anybody. I want that to be known, you know, that we all have this ability to live the life of your dreams, and it all starts here and it comes down through here. And when we can connect them both, we can do amazing fantastic, out of this world things. You know, James, thank you so much for coming on the show today, sharing some wisdom, teaching us all about what it means to be a baller. You know,
Right.
I'm
And the famous
so
words.
excited to continue following you.
No problem. No, I'm excited to follow you too, and watch your show and get my popcorn and love every moment of the conversations, because we need those type of conversations right now. But in the immortal words of Rick Ross, he's a rapper. He says in one of his new songs, "Every day you wake up, you're richer than you ever been." So that's why that answer to the end of that question, that last question, is that we in the moment right now. Everybody in the moment. We don't have anything else. And all the information that we took in from when we was born into now makes us richer than we ever been, because we have so much awareness, so much information in our minds right now than we ever had before since yesterday. So
well said, well said. Take that to heart, everybody. Be grateful for where we're at each and every day. You woke up, we're breathing, life is good.
yes.
Thank you again for coming on the show. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in or will watch this show. If you liked it, give it a heart, share it if it resonated with you. Be sure to follow Robert and me on Instagram so you never miss a beat on what's happening next with us, with Reality Practice, with Coast to Coast Ballers. And until next time, guys, remember to ask yourself, what reality are you choosing to create? Bye now.
Much love, Joey.
Yeah, thanks for coming, brother. Bye.
All right, peace.